I'm going to call this meeting to order. If you would, follow along with the Pledge of Allegiance. It'll be followed by an invocation from Chief Schmidt.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, liberty and justice for all.
Our Father in heaven, we come to Thee today to thank Thee for the many blessings we enjoy. Father, we are grateful to Thee for the warmer weather as well as the moisture that we are receiving. Father, we are grateful to be able to come together as a city and as leadership to contemplate the ideas and suggestions made to help improve the city and to be mindful of the needs of our city as well as the surrounding community. Father, we're grateful to Thee for our aldermen. Ask Thee to please bless them with the strength and power of discernment and the ability to discuss and understand. And we ask these blessings in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Chief. Madam Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
LeBlanc. Here. Rodriguez.
Here.
Howden.
Here.
Milton.
Here.
Cooper. Denham.
Here.
Fenton.
Here.
Your Honor, you have a quorum.
We have public speakers signed up.
We have one speaker. Yes, sir.
Okay, well, so this is the public comment section of the Board of Aldermen meeting. At this time, the board will hear the citizens who have signed up in the order they are listed. Please note the clerk will let speakers know when they have 30 seconds left, and a notification will sound when their time is up. We ask that speakers wrap up their comments upon hearing the 30-second warning. If a speaker would like a board member to bring down an item from the consent agenda for additional discussion, please note this request during comments. Madam Clerk, who do we have?
Our only speaker is Deanna Slatton, and she's speaking on health and safety.
This is to inform you have been served. This is a letter of intent dated January 23rd, 2024, City of Branson, Missouri. Reference public official bond 1077-15254. Kathy Stepp, City of Branson City Administrator. This is issued by Deanna Slatton and Robert Brim. The City of Branson has been slow to and has even ignored requests made by we the people. We the people are the government. Issues that are currently on the table that we need addressed right now are City of Branson elected and appointed officials do not have their surety bonds in place as required by law. We're asking you to have that done. Letter of intent, immediate cease and desist order issued on all COVID-19 products and procedures and related activities in Branson, Missouri, USA. It has been proven that COVID-19 vaccines do not serve the purpose they were created for in protecting the life and the people, and they actually do more harm than good, which qualifies them as a bioweapon. And all related COVID-19 tests and other activities are also an act of fraud and treason against we the people and needs to be ceased immediately until actual COVID-19 virus is isolated, which has not happened to date anywhere in the world. Letter of intent served February 28, 2023. Immediate cease and desist order on all 5G broadcasting of all frequencies inside the city limits of Branson, Missouri, USA until safety research is completed and safety data is provided. Harmful hazardous materials are generated in the form of microwave radiation exceeding safe levels to plants, wildlife, and humans. According to the contracts executed and on the water towers and the lease agreements, if leasing cannot immediately remediate the health hazards and show proof of acceptable safety data, the City of Branson may immediately terminate the lease agreements. First Amendment violations. 17 comments were removed from the city official Branson Board Alderman meeting on the YouTube transcript. This has happened from March 2023 to December 2023. Multiple First Amendment violations occurred during board and alderman meetings and are on record meetings. There are also videos of meetings that have disappeared and can't be found online. An email requested for criminal charges to be filed. Branson City Administrator Kathy Stepp and Assistant Branson City Administrator for 4,439 counts of second-degree child endangerment was sent to City of Branson Police Chief Eric Schmidt on December the 13th, 23. Kathy Stepp and Alex Gerard have repeatedly exhibited criminal negligence acts in a manner that creates a substantial risk to the life, body, and health of the children of Branson, Missouri, less than 17 years of age. Robert Brim did not receive a response back from the City of Branson Police Chief Eric Schmidt by email or phone. A call was placed to the Branson City Dispatch, and Officer Eby was going to contact Robert Brim that day. Robert never received the call. And so Robert called back the next day and asked dispatch to follow up. Robert was told by dispatch that according to the records, Officer Evie had already contacted Robert and provided the information to Robert Brim at his request. That never happened. Dispatch then told Robert Brim he would have another officer contact him, and that never happened. This privileged and confidential email between Robert Brim and City of Branson Police Chief was shared with the accused, and as a result, Robert and Deanna Slatton received an email from the City of Branson attorney, Holly
30
Dodge,
seconds.
saying commission with the City of Branson, Mr. Robert Brim and Ms. Slatton. As the attorney of the City of Branson, my client is notifying you that all communications to them should go to me due to multiple threats. The level of threats and acts by you are causing emotional distress below is my contact. I will be certain to relay any new information to them. This brings into question the nature of what is really going on with the people in the City of Branson. City Branson regular alderman meeting, January. The public comments were disabled January the 8th. And we would like for that to stop. The acceptable solutions are, and they are listed for you. The acceptable solutions address each topic
Excuse me,
and
Deanna.
come to a conclusion that solves these issues. I'm not allowed to speak to you according to your attorney. So that is all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Deanna. Next is the consent agenda. Are there any items the board would like to move down from consent to ask additional questions or make comments? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, would you please read the items on the consent agenda?
Your Honor, the items on the consent agenda are as follows. Approval of the Board of Aldermen minutes for the January 9th, 2024 regular meeting. Acknowledge receipt of Advisory Park Board minutes for the November 21st, 2023 regular meeting. Acknowledgement of disbursements for November 17th, 2023 through January 11th, 2024. Final reading of Bill Number 6402, an ordinance amending Chapter 22 of the Branson Municipal Code pertaining to contractor licensing. Final reading of Bill Number 6404, an ordinance approving the vacation of a portion of Oklahoma Street and the Rourke subdivision, First Edition, Branson, Missouri. Final reading of Bill Number 6405, an ordinance amending Section 54-137 of the Branson Municipal Code pertaining to background checks for security permit holders. Final reading of Bill Number 6406, an ordinance amending Section 86-598 of the Branson Municipal Code pertaining to maximum towing charges. And final reading of Bill Number 6407, an ordinance repealing Resolution Number 2013 R016 and amending Chapter 2 by adding Article 7 to the Branson Municipal Code pertaining to open meetings and records, custodian records, and a written sunshine law policy for the City of Branson, Missouri. Your Honor, that concludes the reading of the consent agenda.
Do I have a motion approving all consent agenda items?
So moved.
We have Two motions and a second. You want a roll call vote on this, Hillary?
LeBlanc? Rodriguez? Howden?
Yes.
Cooper? Denham?
Yes.
Fenton?
Yes.
The result of the vote is 5-0, motion carries. Your Honor, the next item is a presentation by CBB on Kansas City Chiefs review and marketing update.
We will get a introduction from, you are not Lisa Rao.
I'm not gonna lose my opportunity.
Okay, well, I'll start off by saying go Chiefs, but I'm all ears.
I'm Lisa Rao, Director of Communications for our city, and I want to tell you guys, we are excited about this presentation tonight. We are believing that there's a lot of positive momentum happening. I think you're going to start believing that your voices are being heard, and there's new leadership and new energy, and there is a young woman who has a big, bright future. Ashley Beatty is now the interim CMO, and she is also the Director of Marketing, has been behind the scenes, and now she's in front of the scenes.
Hi, Ashley.
Hi. Well, thank you guys for having me, and I appreciate your grace ahead of time, as this is my first presentation with you guys. First, I would like to start off with our 2023 season wrap report on our marketing efforts with the Kansas City Chiefs. So, there we go. So the first piece here is our social media. This is just a collection of our 3 highest performing Chiefs posts that we did. And just a reminder, this is organic performance. So collectively, between just these 3 posts, they saw over 500,000 impressions. And our top performer in terms of comments and engagement was the giveaway post that we did. It had over 8,000 comments, and again, that is without any paid behind it. So really excited to see the Chiefs messaging landing really well with organic audiences. Next, we have our special edition e-newsletter that we sent out. So because this was our first effort and we don't have a list quite built up yet for Chiefs interests, we sent this specific newsletter out to our full list of 96,000 subscribers. We had an open rate of over 50% and generated over 1,200 sessions on the website from that send, as well as over 2,300 page views and an average session duration of over 3 minutes. And that is actually exceeding what our regular time on site looks like from just our other traffic. So really excited to see that this specific Chiefs messaging, again, really landing well with our audience. Next, we have our paid digital media strategies. So this is a sampling of some of those ads that we had deployed. Of those, our impressions were over 12 million. We saw over 37,000 conversions on the website from this, which a conversion would be a request for a vacation guide, a sign up for our newsletter, or seeing more than 2 pages on the site while they were on the website, and over 3 million video completions. So this was a very high-performing campaign for us. Next, we have our website performance. So this is a specific landing page that our team built out dedicated to the Chiefs partnership and messaging. And this page saw over 6,000 views and over a 26% engagement rate, which is really strong performance for a brand new page that was built. So this is all of the ads that we just saw drove to this landing page on the website, so it felt very familiar when they got there. So just a little bit of some next steps with the Chiefs campaign as well. We're building out currently a brand new digital media toolkit. Really excited about this. This is just a way for all of the pieces of the partnership to have one place where they can go that has approved images, approved copy, all of our logo lockups, fonts, those sort of things. And then we're also working right now to develop a brand new 30-second spot with John Presley and Validate Films. And that is going to be a piece that really showcases the Chiefs and the partnership we have here, and the Play Like a Champion tagline will be involved in that as well. So that is coming up pretty soon. We're hopefully going to have that ready to roll out in the next month. And then just a progress report on our tailgates that we did. We had all of the planned tailgating events at Arrowhead Stadium, plus the bonus one because of the Chiefs' success with the wild card game. Of that, we saw over 24,000 in foot traffic, and over 3,000 of those people participated in our activations at our booth. We were also able to give out 2,000 pieces of swag and prizes, and we also saw 300 entries into our giveaway for our grand prize. So really excited about the efforts we saw around the tailgating events and looking forward to more of those in the next season. Okay, so now we're going to switch gears a little bit, talk about our spring media campaign that's about to launch. The first thing I want to show you guys is our brand new spots that we have for spring. Okay. Okay, so the first one here is a 15-second outdoor spot.
Hey, it's me, your vacation, and I'm clocking you out, way out, to Branson, where we'll ditch the water cooler for cooler waters and dial into the meetings that really matter. This spring, I'm the boss in Branson.
Okay, and the next one's a 15-second spot for live music shows.
Hey, it's me, your vacation. Forget spring cleaning. I'm taking the to-do list to Branson, where the house always sparkles. Soak the curtains in the spotlight. Check. Get swept off your feet. Done. This spring, put Branson on your to-do list.
The next one is a 15-second family fun spot.
Hey, it's me, your vacation. This year, let's go to Branson, where we'll explore, splash, and scream. So pack your bags. We're going to Branson.
And then finally, we have our 30-second spot for spring.
Hey, it's me, your vacation. This spring, I'm the boss in Branson, where our first order of business is show business. We'll cast a wide net and really rock the boat. Tell the team you'll circle back once you're in the loop. Now this is my kind of commute, and excitement is always the bottom line. So pack your bags. We're going way out of the office to Branson.
Okay, so we had a little bit of technical difficulty with the video playback, obviously, but we can send you the links so you have a chance to see them in real time as well. Okay, and then next we just have a sampling of some of our spring paid digital ads that are going to be launching alongside of those video spots. So we'll have an opportunity to really highlight all the fun things there are to do here with spring break and the beautiful scenery in Branson as well. So really highlighting all the different pillars. And again, this is just a sampling. There are other ads as well. Okay, so Jen, just wanted to wrap up with a few next steps. So all the spring paid digital that we just reviewed, that is going to launch fully on February 12th. So we're excited to see the performance generated from that. This will be our first time doing a fully creative, dedicated campaign for spring. And so if it performs the way we're hoping, the way that fall did, we're really excited to see this part of the season really pick up. Next, I wanted to just talk about our community marketing presentation. That'll be coming up here in the next couple of months. We're still working to finalize the plans on dates and things of that nature. It will be posted. We'll definitely let you know. And we will also plan to distribute our brand new three-year strategic marketing plan. We have a really nice new visual format that we want to deliver that. And so, of course, you all will see that ahead of that marketing presentation, but we're excited about that being a piece of it as well. And then also we are looking forward to H2R Research providing us their annual State of the Union report that kind of gives us a synopsis of where we've come from last year and looking ahead into our traveler trends for '24. And then one last thing I wanted to mention, we do have our annual membership luncheon coming up as well for the chamber side on February 6th at 11:30 at the Chateau. And we're super excited this year. It's themed after our Chiefs partnership, so we're calling it Red Tuesday. So we'd love for you guys to come and be a part of that as well. And I think that's everything. So I'm open for questions if you guys have them.
Ashley, you said this was your first presentation?
With you, yes.
You did excellent.
Thank you.
Anybody in the audience have any questions or comments for Ashley? Any members of the board? Marshall?
Ashley, God willing, we are 2 wins away and about a month out from a Chiefs Super Bowl victory. Last year, the parade was pretty fantastic. I wonder if there's any talk about how Branson might be able to participate in a Super Bowl parade if that were to occur.
We have had some talks around what that could look like, maybe a Super Bowl watch party from Branson. We haven't really fleshed out the full plan with that, but we're definitely in the works of figuring out some pieces for that, yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Kathy?
Thank you, Mayor. Ashley, outstanding job. And not just with your presentation tonight, but with the way you have stepped into this role with confidence and grace, and your active listening skills are amazing. The way you can turn around feedback that's been provided to you, whether it's from us at the city or the TCED, is remarkable. And this is a new day, and I just want to share that with the board on just how outstanding you have been to work with under the leadership of Pam and Sam by her side, and you guys make an absolutely dynamic team. I can't wait to see what 2024 holds for us, so thank you.
Thank you very much, I really appreciate it.
And Ashley, I want to say pretty much ditto what Kathy just said. It's a breath of fresh air. We have all seen significant difference and appreciate it. And like Kathy, everybody up here is really looking forward to working with you hand in hand this year.
Awesome. Well, we are too, so we really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Cool, thank you, guys.
Your Honor, the next item is a presentation on the City of Branson's annual comprehensive financial report for fiscal year 2022 performed by Hood and Associates CPAs, PC.
Hello, Hello, Mr. Mayor and Board.
Hi, Sherry.
We have Michael Keenan here. He's the Senior Audit Manager from Hood and Associates to present our 2022 audit. And I do want to address real quick before he presents the audit, the delay that we had in the audit. Normally, the audit would be presented by June following the current year being audited, but we had to rebid the audit, which caused a few months delay. And then with my department being severely short-staffed, and then also the ERP integration, we were just spread too thin to get it done sooner. So sorry for the delay, but we've already addressed the issues. And for 2023, we've already started the audit reports, and I've already requested to be on Michael's calendar for March to start the audit field work, so.
Very good. Thank you, Sherry. Hello, Michael.
Thank you. I will try to be as energetic and informational as that last presentation, but it's going to be a tough challenge.
Good luck with that,
especially
Michael.
with the subject topic. But anyway, again, my name is Michael Keenan. I'm with the auditing firm of Hood and Associates, here to present the results of the financial and compliance audit for the year ended December 31, 2022. I believe you've been provided, let me make sure I can. The colored annual comprehensive financial report, that's a larger document. And I understand you were just provided 2 other documents that were sent earlier, and one is the single audit, and that's the audit of the city's federal awards. And also,
Michael, if you would, speak into the mic. Thank you.
the audits of the city's federal awards, and also the other document is required communication and management letter. Again, but I will summarize the results of the audit, again, coming through this PowerPoint presentation. I'll add a little this if I can. And then we'll open it up for questions after that. So a little bit about Hood and Associates. Now I need to get my glasses on. We've been serving Missouri, Kansas, and Oklahoma and Texas. We also go through what's called a peer review, and that's where an independent outside auditing firm will come in and review our quality control standards, which would include audits of governmental entities. And we have been awarded the highest rating as a result of that review. We're members of professional organizations such as the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, the AICPA, which govern what all auditors do as far as their procedures in auditing. We're also a member of the AICPA Government Audit Quality Center, and one member, which happens to be me, is a member of the government service team that audits other governments that participate in the Government Finance Officers Association Excellence in Achievement in Financial Reporting. And I'll get to how Branson fits into that in my next slide. And we're licensed in Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. Again, the scope of the audit, again, is the annual comprehensive financial report, again, the larger document, as well as a single audit. And to have a single audit, the city would need to expend in excess of $750,000 of federal awards in 2022. Your most significant grant was the spending of the ARPA funds, which was a little over $1.1 million. And that's what necessitated us having a single audit. And so we audited that program for its compliance requirements. And again, I'll hold the results until the end. Also, on the annual comprehensive financial report, the city will present this report to the Government Finance Officers Association for participation in the Excellent Achievement in Financial Reporting. It should be noted that the city has received this prestigious award for 17 consecutive years. And what that entails is in this report has a statistical section, introductory section, a lot of great information that covers the city over a 10-year period. And not all governmental entities attempt to participate in this with this award, so that should be noted on your staff that, again, 17 consecutive years. And we truly believe that this current version will, again, meet those guidelines. Now to go through what is management's responsibilities for the financial statements. Management is responsible for the preparation and fair presentation of these financial statements in accordance with auditing principles generally accepted in the United States of America. This includes the design, implementation, and maintenance of internal controls that are relevant to the preparation and fair presentation of these financial statements that are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error. Management is also responsible for following laws and regulations and ensuring that the financial information is reliable and properly reported, as well as implementing systems designed to achieve compliance with applicable laws, regulation, contracts, and grant agreements. And finally, they're responsible for the selection and application of accounting principles, again, for the fair presentation, preparation and presentation of financial statements, the schedule of federal awards, again, in conformity with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States. That's what management is responsible, and it really gets down to they're responsible for everything that's in this financial statements and the day-to-day internal controls of how you initiate, authorize, approve the transactions that the city enters into. Now, the auditor's responsibilities. We're responsible to conduct our audit in accordance with auditing standards generally accepted in the United States of America and the standards applicable to financial audits contained in governmental accounting standards, which are issued by the Comptroller General of the United States. And finally, the uniform guidance. Again, the uniform guidance is what dictate what auditors do as far as auditing procedures related to federal awards. We're also responsible to plan and perform our audit to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements are free of material misstatement. Reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance, but it's not absolute assurance, and therefore is not a guarantee that an audit conducted in accordance with auditing standards generally accepted in the United States will always detect a material misstatement when it exists. What that means is when we do our audit procedures, we take a risk-based approach and we make selections of various transactions, but we do not audit all transactions. So could there be error that exists Again, it's possible, but again, we do our best to look at a risk-based approach, look at the larger transactions. But that, nevertheless, we have that caveat. We're also responsible to report on internal controls over financial reporting, as well as compliance on laws and regulations. The Auditing Standards Board of the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, again, the ASCPA, recommend we communicate these matters to the governing board. Illegal acts, none came to our attention as a result of us performing our audit procedures. Changes in significant accounting policies. The city implemented Government Accounting Standards Board GASB Statement Number 87, relates to leases. And if you look in Note 6 to the financial statements, what that did was change how the accounting, so the city had several tower rental and land rental agreements. Previous to this standard, you just collected the monies as due. Under this new standard, we record a receivable for the net present value of all those payments that are scheduled throughout several years, and also record a deferred inflow. And so you will still recognize lease revenue on a straight line basis over the time of those lease agreements, but there will also be an interest income component. Now, all governmental entities have issued with GASB 87 had to implement this process. In addition, you have a number of vehicle leases, and those qualify as a right to use an intangible asset. So what really those happened there is those were recorded as a capital asset right to use, and then that offset with a lease liability. Again, it kind of just changes the reporting. It doesn't change the amount that you collect from your lease agreements that for the land and tower, nor does it change the amount that you pay on those lease agreements. It's just how they're presented in the financial statements. And this was required for all governmental entities had to implement that. So that's the largest change in the financial reporting. We're pleased to report we had no difficulties or disagreements with management. However, as Sri said, there were delays in us receiving certain trial balance and other information so that we could conduct our audit. And we did receive cooperation and full access to the books and records as far as whatever items we wanted to select for testing. We were provided those. Now, a financial and complied audit really addresses these next three questions. The first question, are the financial statements free of material misstatement? And our response to that is we have issued an unmodified opinion that indeed the financial statements are fairly presented in all material respects. Now, unmodified opinion is similar to, maybe you heard the clean opinion. That's the highest level of opinion that auditors can provide on external financial statements that they audit. So that's a good opinion. The second question, are internal controls over financial reporting adequately designed, and are they operating effectively? Our response to that question is we did not identify any deficiencies in internal controls that we consider to be a material weakness. Again, had we done so, we are required by our profession to report those matters to the governing body. And the third question is, did the city of Branson comply in all material respects with finance-related laws and regulations? And no non-compliance was noted with finance-related laws and regulations that govern the city's operations based on our testing. And included in those required communications were a couple of management letter comments for the suggestions for best practices and possible improvements in internal control. There were two, one related to budgeting. In the Convention Center Fund and the Branson Aquarium TIF Projects Fund, actual expenditures exceeded budgeted appropriations. Our recommendation is that the city review the policies and procedures for monitoring those budgets, and when necessary, come forward with a proper amendment to those budgets so the governing board can approve those. I know there are a number of budget amendments that are approved throughout the year. Apparently, these just weren't notified, identified. And I know that we've had good talk with current staff, and so they're really looking into that to make sure that that, again, doesn't happen again. And the last one, there's future accounting pronouncements. About 3 years ago, there was a list of, seemed like 10 of them, and now it's down to about 4. So there is one that might have an impact on the city. Staff is evaluating what that is, and that's called GASB Statement Number 96, Subscription-Based Information Technology Arrangements, short for SBITAs. Again, it's kind of on the tails of the leases, so if you're leasing software like accounting software or any type of software that's the agreements are greater than 12 months long, then there's going to be a right to use that intangible asset. So we'll record an asset, if you will, and a right to use liability. Similar to how the leases were reported, I guess the concept behind that is to be able to show really long-term obligations of the city related to lease agreements or these SBITA agreements. So more information. And Hood and Associates certainly appreciate the opportunity to serve as the auditors for the city of Branson. Certainly, thank you, Mayor, and Kathy Steep, the city administrator. And I really got to thank Cherie and Joe Lynn and the accounting staff for providing us the information we need. Very professional and helpful in getting us the information, because I think when they look at auditors coming, at best we're intrusive. And they always say, it's good to see you go. But kind of like relatives. But actually, and all kidding aside, a great staff to work with. And again, I think there's got the tracks on to go forward so that there won't be any future delays in reports. So that concludes my presentation. Certainly open up the floor to any questions.
Any questions from anybody in the audience? Questions from the board? Michael, I know you addressed it, but there's a term in your world. It's called an unmodified report or unmodified.
Unmodified opinion.
Opinion, yeah. And so that is the highest level of opinion you can give in an audit.
Yes.
And Kathy and Cherie, I would ask that under that management letter comments regarding the budgeting and future accounting pronouncements, when those are cleared up, would you put on the agenda to update the board on that activity? Cherie? No comments from the board? Hillary, you want to vote to approve this, or this was
We don't need to.
just a presentation? Michael, thank you very much.
I appreciate it. And
I look forward to seeing you this year for this one.
Great. And I will put out, if there are questions at any time as you read this or if something else comes up, please don't hesitate to contact me with those questions. I have the staff do that as well. It's much better if there's issues or something to identify those and do them up front than
You bet.
try to do them later on. And so that's always, we got an open door policy, and I appreciate you inviting me here tonight to do the presentation.
Thank you, Michael.
Your Honor, the next item is the public hearing on proposed change in water and sewer system connection charges for the city of Branson.
We'll now open a public hearing and begin with a staff report from Ethan. Hello, Ethan.
Good evening. Mr. Mayor, and for those of you that don't know me, I'm Ethan Hiley, new Assistant Director of Utilities, filling in for Kendall due to a family emergency. This is a public hearing following upon a request from Mayor Milton to bring before the Board of Aldermen a classification change in water and sewer system connection charges and a refund proposal to customers for changes previously collected. A system connection charge is a one-time fee paid by new development to help finance construction of the public infrastructure needed to serve them. The system connection charges are a contribution of capital to either reimburse existing customers for the available capacity in the existing system or to help finance planned future growth-related capital improvements. These system connection fees are based on the size of the water meter needed to serve that resident or commercial, whatever it is. Currently, the system connection charges consist of 3 classifications, which is residential, which would be your single family and multiple family dwellings. Commercial class 1, which includes retail sales and office buildings, as well as nightly rentals with individual water meters. And the last one, commercial class 2, which consists of all other commercial customers not in the class 1. But what's proposed to change is not to collect any additional connection fees to the nightly rental properties, meaning that the city of Branson would not collect the differences for already built residential properties that has been converted to nightly rentals. These properties will continue to be charged commercial usage rates due to the use being changed from residential to commercial. An additional request was made to refund the charges collected in 2023 for properties that were charged additional system connection charges for a change of use from residential to nightly rental use. I'm here to try to answer any questions you guys may have.
Good job, Ethan.
Appreciate it, thank you.
This came up when we discovered that when we have a residential connection fee for water, when that property converts to a nightly rental, we were charging a commercial connection fee. Didn't seem to make a lot of sense. Same connection, same size, same everything, right? The water usage increased to a commercial rate. But there seemed to be some unbalance of, it just didn't sit right, charging a commercial hookup fee. So in those discussions, we brought up that, from my point of view, I just thought that was unfair. And so I proposed to go back for this year, go back to 23, anybody that we did charge that additional hookup fee to reimburse them for that. Does that make sense? So is there anybody in the audience have any questions or comments on this? Any members of the board? Marshall?
So just for clarity, so if it triples or quadruples the amount of usage, they're still charged that commercial fee for the usage, but not for the setup, correct? Got it.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions from the board? Kathy?
Just one additional comment. Ethan, thank you. You did a great job.
Thank you, appreciate it.
For new construction nightly rentals, they will be charged a commercial connection fee, just for clarification.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. And see, that makes sense because it is an actual new connection, right?
Thank you.
Don't leave yet, we haven't voted. Oh, wait a minute, we're not voting on
Yeah.
this. I need to close the meeting.
Yes, sir.
This public hearing is now closed.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Ethan. So the code amendment for this change will be drafted and brought to this board for consideration at our next meeting. Madam Clerk, before you read the next item, I am going to excuse myself. There's a conflict of interest. This particular item, my home we live in this subdivision that is up for discussion. So what I would like to do, in absence of our Mayor Pro Tem being absent, I'm going to ask Marshall if he would run this meeting just for this one item. Told him I didn't want to come back in and hear, "You're not allowed back in the room." So I'm going to leave and abstain from any comments or votes.
Okay. So let the record show that temporary acting President Howden is now presiding over the meeting, but will maintain his representation as Ward 1 Alderman and will still be voting on this item. Your new and temporary honor. The next item is the public hearing and first reading of Bill Number 6408, an ordinance approving a final subdivision plat for Willow Court at Lakewood Estates, Branson, Missouri, 65616.
We will now open this public hearing and begin with a staff report from Mark Colosy.
Thank you, Your Honor, and Madam and gentlemen of the board. As mentioned by the clerk, we do have an item before your consideration today, and why we have a public hearing before you is this actually followed a public hearing which we had at the Planning Commission meeting on January the 4th, which was properly advertised in the paper and notified by all the surrounding residents within the general vicinity of this particular proposal. The applicant for this particular property is Harry Styron of Styron and Schilling, who's actually in the audience with us today in case you would have any questions directly for the applicant. But the proposal today is a consideration for a final subdivision plat at the Willow Court area of the Lakewood Estates residential area within the city. And the ultimate intent for this particular proposal is to eliminate or basically extinguish the condominium association, which each one of these 11 duplex units are within currently. So before you, you see this is the exhibit. This is the actual final subdivision plat for this proposal. And to give you a little bit more flavor and details for this particular plat is that each one of these existing 11 duplex units, which is 22 units in total, currently is a condominium association. Each one of the individual units is to the structure foundation and not the surrounding yard. So it is the intent of the applicant to eliminate the condominium association for the condominium, or excuse me, the common areas, and basically make it more of a traditional subdivision unit where the surrounding yard area would be added to the individual structure. So each property owner would then have truly a property, a yard, to coincide with their structure. As you can see in the site location map, this is right off of Lake Taneycomo, just between 65 and the lake. And as you can see, it's in the turquoise area highlighted by the arrow. And then on the bottom left-hand side, you can see a north orthometric view of this particular proposal. And it is not of the entirety of Lakewood Estates. Again, this is just the Willow Court within this particular area. So at any time, we look at, for example, the existing land use, which is high-density residential. We look at existing zoning for this particular area, which is medium-density residential, which is not intended to change with this proposal. So before us, anytime we look at a major subdivision plat, we have to look at what this code requires. So all the items that you see in this, which I'm not going to read, has to be verified to make sure that it is prepared for your consideration, with the final check being that it has gone through Planning Commission, and they were given recommendation, which it has gone through to do that. We also look at what the community plan, the 2030 plan, looks at with regards to future land use. This is an established residential area, and the community plan looks at this as being a medium-density residential area, which, again, this proposal is in compliance with. And ultimately, this is both recommended by staff and by a 9-0 vote on January the 4th by the Planning Commission for your approval. And as I mentioned, as I conclude, we do have the applicant with us today in case you would like to provide any color to this proposal. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mark. I will now take public comments. Anyone in the audience wishing to speak in favor of or opposing this matter? Okay. Any aldermen? This public hearing is now closed. You have, Your Honor, you have heard the first reading of Bill number 6408. Do I have a motion approving this bill?
Anyone in the audience wishing to speak regarding this matter?
Styron, I represent the owners of the units in this development. This was a condominium. It was discovered when they obtained flood insurance that the flood insurance would not cover any part of the condominium unit. So it was, but by changing the boundaries to where the exterior of the buildings and crawl spaces were within the ownership of each person, flood insurance would cover it. So that's what prompted it. Then there have been some other advantages. Anyway, I would like for you to ask me any questions if you would have them, but also ask for your approval, and also if you could do a second reading, it would be appreciated, because there's a transaction that's been delayed while this process is going on. Thank you.
So any alderman with any questions for Mr. Styron or otherwise? Cody?
Hey, Harry.
Yes, Cody.
How are you?
Fine.
I'm assuming every owner is on board with this?
Yes,
There's been no...
everyone.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I got.
I got a question. Harry? So does this, I guess, nullify the homeowners association, so there'll be no...
No, the homeowners association continues. It was called the Willow Court Owners Association. It still is, and it will be responsible for the street, and there's a little area at one end of common area, and we have submitted to the Planning and Zoning Department a copy of the proposed covenants that provide for that, and also describe how some shared sewer lines will be maintained.
So this gives each condominium owner the land? Or ground?
Yes.
Okay.
They'll each own the yard. There'll be a divide. There's essentially a party wall agreement between each unit. So it's a typical duplex situation with a separate owner on each side.
Thank you.
All right. Now we're going to vote. Do we need a roll call vote, Hillary?
Not on the first reading.
All right, sounds good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign? The ayes have it.
Your Honor, I move to read Bill number 6408 for its final reading due to timing.
Do I have a second? We have a motion and second. Anyone in the audience wishing to speak regarding this matter? Any aldermen? All right, we will be now voting on whether to have a second read. Please vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign?
Your Honor, this is the final reading of Bill number 6408, an ordinance approving a final subdivision plat for Willow Court at Lakewood Estates, Branson, Missouri 65616.
All right, you have heard the final reading of Bill number 6408. Do I have a motion approving this bill?
So moved.
Second? Anyone in the audience wishing to speak regarding this matter? Any aldermen? Madam Clerk will now provide a roll call vote.
LeBlanc?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Howden?
Yes.
Cooper? Denham?
Yes.
Fenton?
Yes.
The result of the vote is 5-0. Motion carries.
I will now yield control of the meeting back to Mayor Milton.
Let the record show Mayor Milton is now presiding over the meeting.
Good job,
Marshall.
Told you if you ever did that, you weren't getting it back. But
Yeah, I know.
Your Honor, this is the first reading of Bill number 6409, an ordinance approving the contract with Geoservices Incorporated for supplying and installing LED light fixtures to replace the existing light fixtures and authorizing the mayor to execute the contract.
You've heard the first reading of Bill 6409. Do I have a motion approving this bill? We have a motion and a second. We'll now hear from Cindy.
Mr. Mayor, members of the board, bids were received on December 4, 2023 for the design and build proposal to provide a comprehensive upgrade to the existing light poles and fixtures at the Branson Recplex softball and baseball complex. The proposal includes removal of the existing metal halide lighting units and the installation of new LED retrofit lamp units with satisfactory lumen output. The proposal includes all engineering labor and materials for the state-of-the-art LED athletic field lighting system for the Branson Recplex. So you can see there are 5 bids that range anywhere from $216,000 to $1 million. And Chad, you might scroll through the pictures just a little bit. Just a couple of pictures of lights is what it is. And so if you remember, this is part of the grant that we received, the ARPA grant for $1.6 million. And so we'll be reimbursed up to 50%. A selection committee made up of staff from Parks and Finance Department completed a review of the proposal. Every section of the scoring criteria, including the company profile, the qualifications, the scope, the fee summary, and the references in the proposal were outlined in detail by Geoservices Incorporated. After the review process and scoring was completed, Geoservices was unanimously selected as the lowest and best bidder. Geosurface's qualifications and ability to complete the project on our timeline and was the ultimate deciding factor. They're also a full-service company. We really like that about them because they can do it all. They're not subbing out portions of it. They can do the engineering, build, install, and offer a 10-year warranty, and they also have 21 years experience in sports lighting that we thought was really critical. So, okay, staff recommends approval of the contract with Geoservices Incorporated in the amount of $297,000, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Cindy. Is there anybody in the audience wishing to speak to this? Deanna, I need you to come up, please. Need you to speak into the mic.
The question that I have is, these lights 5G capabilities, or are they just normal lights? That's all I needed to know.
There's LED lights.
They're just LED?
Yeah.
So it has nothing to do with any kind of leases on 5G or anything like that? Because the 5G can be on street lamps. That's why I asked. Okay, that's all I need to know.
What I read in the statement was these are strictly LED lights. Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
Any other questions from the audience? Questions, comments from the board? Marshall?
Cindy, this is just so exciting, and it's going to look so cool down there. I've noticed on a lot of, we had this discussion on Parks Board, but a lot of the seating areas have that awning. Are we planning on pretty much the awning for
So that's my next one. And so, this is really 3, besides the turf, we have the turf, the LED lights, and the sunshades. So those are the 3 big components of the project. So that is my next ask after this.
Assuming she gets this one.
Exactly.
Any other questions, comments from the board?
Comment. Just want to say thank you for just stepping up the game and really the people you're attracting to fulfill these obligations for us. I mean, you're doing all that research and really making it easy. But the quality of those contractors and those companies that are coming to town is exactly what we need to really elevate the game of Branson. And thank you for doing that for us.
Well, thank you for saying that. We have a really good team, and it's definitely a team of people, but we're attracting great people and great contractors, so we're excited.
Ralph, I agree with you 100%. I know when Cindy does her research and does all of her work, she really doesn't leave any stones unturned.
And I say that not just because of the work they're doing, but I'm seeing these guys in our community, and what you see them do out on the job site, they are equally as cordial to our community and with every interaction, whether it's at a restaurant or at a convenience store or anything like that. And it just speaks to, I guess the quality of your leadership and your team is that you're attracting that quality contractor and making sure that job is done right the first time, so we're not repeating this process. So, yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
Mayor, I would just like to request a double read, of course, because of the timeline of April 5th. And so if you would consider that, I would just ask for that,
Yeah,
please.
We're not going to do that.
Okay, good to know. We don't need lights that bad, you know.
Your Honor, I move to read Bill number 6409 for its final reading due to time.
We have a motion and a second. Anybody in the audience wishing to speak to this? Any members of the board? We're voting to approve a second read. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Madam Clerk, would you please provide the introduction for this item?
Your Honor, this is the final reading of Bill number 6409, an ordinance approving the contract with Geosurfaces Incorporated for supplying and installing LED light fixtures to replace the existing light fixtures and authorizing the mayor to execute the contract.
I have a motion approving this? So moved. We have a motion and a second. Did you get that, Hill?
Yes, sir.
Anybody in the audience wishing to speak to this? Any members of the board? Hearing none, Hillary, would you provide a roll call vote, please?
LeBlanc?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Howden?
Yes.
Cooper? Denham?
Yes.
Fenton?
Yes.
The result of the vote is 5-0, motion carries. Your Honor, this is the first reading of Bill number 6410, an ordinance approving the contract with Game Time CO Cunningham Recreation for Bleacher shade structures and authorizing the mayor to execute the contract.
You've heard the first reading of Bill number 6410. Do I have a motion approving this bill? We have a motion and a second. What say ye, Cindy?
Mr. Mayor, Board, this is the second agreement. So it's the following agreement is to purchase Bleacher sunshades for the new turf, baseball, and softball complex. The sunshades are purchased off a cooperative bid with Omnia. Omnia is a local government unit and cooperative purchasing that offers cooperative procurement solutions. So our Branson code allows us to do that. This will be 8 40 by 10 by 12 custom multi-dome hanging cantilever sunshades. That is a handful to say, and will be installed over the existing bleachers. The shade structures are warranted for 10 years against significant fading, deterioration, mold, mildew, and discoloration caused by weather. More shade is a commonly requested, as you can imagine, things are hot in the summer, so it's really commonly requested, and also will serve to enhance the visitor experience. Funds are available in the 2024 Capital Improvement Project Fund as part of the turf improvement project. In addition, the project is eligible for partial reimbursement as part of the ARPA grant. Staff recommends approval of the contract with Game Time CO care of Cunningham Recreation for the purchase of the Bleacher sunshade structures for a total amount not to exceed $115,659.88. And I would just like to say we're going to be saving money, our staff, up to $100,000, our staff installing them ourselves. So staff recommends approval of the bill, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Cindy, before I open it up, would you address the durability, like for storms and wind and all that?
Yeah, for sure. Chad, do you mind bringing those pictures back up? It gave a couple of pictures, I think. So these are the same type of sunshades we use at our pool. So if anybody's been out to our pool, it's the same type of fabric. It's wind rated, all those kind of things that you experience down at fields. And so, again, if you've been out to our pool, you can see they're a mesh. And again, the 10-year warranty, we feel like this is just really great quality. And yeah, I think they should hold up really great.
Great. Anybody in the audience wishing to speak to this? Any members of the board? Marshall, again?
I just want to say, you know, Mr. Mayor, with your leadership and the rest of the board, we've got a fantastic Parks Board right now. And we mentioned this at the last meeting, but each and every person has an individual point of interest they bring to the table, which is really phenomenal. And I think this is going to be a really big deal for the comfort of our parents that have to sit out there, just upgrading the entire experience that we provide altogether. So I'm strongly in favor of this. So.
Thank you.
Very nice. Any other questions, comments from the board? I'm going to tell you, I'm very impressed with the elevation that you're raising our Parks Department, for sure. Let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Oh, looky there, Marshall.
Thought you said I talked too much. Your Honor, I move to read Bill number 6410 for its final reading due to timing.
We have a motion and a second. We're going to vote to approve the second read. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Madam Clerk, would you please provide the introduction for this item?
Your Honor, this is the final reading of Bill number 6410, an ordinance approving the contract with Game Time CO Cunningham Recreation for Bleacher shade structures and authorizing the mayor to execute the contract.
You've heard the final reading of Bill 6410. Do I have a motion approving this bill?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Anybody in the audience wishing to speak? Any members of the board? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, would you provide a roll call vote, please?
LeBlanc?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Howden?
Yes.
Cooper? Denham?
Yes.
Fenton?
Yes.
Result of the vote is 5-0. Motion carries.
Thank you, Cindy. Cindy, I want to remind you, in 2024, there will be a no. I don't know if you had any no's in 23, but in 24, there will be one.
Your Honor, the next item is a resolution approving the contract with Universal Field Services Incorporated for professional consultant services in connection with right-of-way negotiation services for the West 76 Country Boulevard segments 1 and 2 streetscape project and authorizing the mayor to execute the contract.
Do I have a motion adopting this resolution? Second. We have a motion and a second. We're going to hear from Michael.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the board. No fancy photography for me on this one. So the city advertised a request for proposal for right-of-way negotiation services on October 19th of 2023. 5 proposals were received. Staff and 76 ECID board members evaluated the score of the RFPs based on qualifications. Universal Field Services were selected to perform the right-of-way negotiations. A contract was negotiated with Universal Field Services in the not-to-exceed amount of $57,780. Universal Field Services will be negotiating the property owners along segment 1 and 2 for the pedestrian and utility easements for the streetscape improvements. So exciting next step.
It is an exciting next step. Anyone in the audience wishing to address this? Cheryl, no questions? Any members of the board? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
Your Honor, the next item is a resolution approving a final change order with Blevins Asphalt Construction Company Incorporated for the 2023 mill and overlay of various city streets and authorizing the mayor to execute the contract.
Do I have a motion adopting this resolution?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Michael, what say ye?
I have a presentation for this one. I want to leave it short.
Well, I saw it in our packet.
So you've seen this presentation before. It's the 2023 mill and overlay final change order. As you remember last year, the platform that I came to you guys on was the bigger, bolder 5-year plan, the right treatment at the right time and on budget. Our objectives were wise spending, applying the right treatment at the right time, getting the best cost possible, most lane miles for the best use of taxpayers' dollars, and challenged my staff to treat the money as if it was their own. In 2023, you approved a budget for $2.1 million. We had received 2 bids. We selected Blevins for the bid at $1.9 million and some change. We were $160,000 under program cost. So the program cost was what you approved versus where we landed. So there was $160,000 of savings there, or estimation. We went over this last time, and this is the time I said which ward was my favorite. So all my wards are my favorite, but I delivered on them all. I have not forgotten that. So Ward 1, Mr. Cooper, or Alderman Cooper is not here today, but Alderman Howden is. So 1.75 miles of resurfacing and 4.85 miles of pavement markings. These are pictures of work that actually got done. So that was an exciting project for me. Gretna Road got some friction treatment, also got some striping on it. And then the last segment was completed near where the new police station will be. The next ward was Ward 2 with Fenton and Rodriguez, 2.01 of miles of resurfacing and 2.01 of pavement marking. We basically concentrated out in the Commerce Parkway. I believe that project turned out really well. We did a chip and seal with a seal fog over it with some striping. I know there was a little bit of angst as we went through it because summertime temperatures and fall temperatures didn't mix very well. But Branson Hills Parkway was probably one of the biggest improvements there. And I pushed the picture over onto Ward 3, because last time I said Ward 3 was my favorite, so I'll leave a picture for Ward 2 on Ward 3. This is my favorite picture. That's Branson Hills Parkway. Ward 3 did get 4.76 miles of resurfacing and 2.44 miles of pavement marking. As you can see here, some of the Taneycoma Acres received a lot of infrastructure improvements, some stormwater improvement, lots of patches in there, and then we went ahead and chip and sealed and overlaid that. And that actually over this weekend worked out rather well, not perfectly, but better than it ever had with the ice storm that we had, that they were able to get in and out without as much of the surface treatment that we would typically have to put on there. Green Mountain Drive all got done, so all your colored routes have now been completed. What I bring to you this evening is a negative $159,755.66. That goes back to the coffer. Last time I brought one back to finish 2022. And then I took it right back away the same meeting, so that was pretty impressive. This time I bring it back to put it back in the coffer. We also wanted to highlight that for $18,360, Cindy partnered with us to get a senior center drive meal and delivery lane, which if you haven't been down to a senior center is a valuable asset. And I'm just astounded at the amount of senior citizens that go down there and enjoy that, and it's better services for them. The contract was released on 9/5/23. with 180 days. On 12/14, we skipped in there because we had beautiful weather for the winter season, I would say. Normally the plant shut down. We didn't think we'd get there, so 80 days to completion. Bigger, bolder 5-year plan, the right treatment at the right time. We delivered that. We look forward to this year of doing safety, productivity, and innovation, and we're excited to bring some things forward to you as we go out. Happy New Year.
Michael, you are doing an absolute phenomenal job.
Thank you.
I don't know if anybody else noticed, but I believe Ward 2 did receive more surfacing. So just putting it out there.
No, Ward 3 had more.
I'm very impressed with what I see out in the community. Anybody in the audience have any questions or comments? Come on.
Ron Inch, good evening, Mayor. Ward 3. There's a Green Mountain Road and the crossing road, excellent. Even during the construction, it wasn't a problem. The people were very considerate to the traffic going through there, and the road looks wonderful. And I believe it's performing much better in the ice and snow for them too. They're not having to make bigger holes. But I just wanted to let you know we do appreciate the new roads. Thank you.
Thank you for saying that, Ron.
For the record, I did not solicitate that.
And for the record, Ron, this board provides the funding. It's that man right there that's getting it done. Thank you, Michael. Any questions, comments? Does the board have comments? No?
I think we have to vote to accept the refund, though.
What's that? What was that?
As crazy as it sounds, I think we have to vote to accept the money back.
Yep. So if we just approve this, it includes that, or is that a separate item?
I believe that's that.
That is true. You have to accept it for us to close the contract, so.
But if we accept this resolution, is it including that, or does that need to be a separate?
That's included.
Okay. So, hearing no other questions, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Good job, Michael.
Your Honor, this is the first reading of Bill Number 6411, an ordinance approving the contract with Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services for the detection and mitigation in confinement facilities COVID-19 grant for the purchase of materials for the new police facility to help limit the spread of diseases.
You've heard the first reading of Bill Number 6411. Do I have a motion approving this bill?
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and Chief Smith's going to explain this all to us.
Your Honor, members of the board, thank you. Basically, we came across a grant through the Department of Health and Senior Services, federal money to limit the risk of, or mitigate the risk of communicable diseases being transmitted through touching doorknobs, sinks, things along those lines. I filled out a survey, and next thing you know, we're moving along, and we got approved for up to $180,000 to help us do that. So we have been working with our architects in the new building design, and we submitted the numbers and came up with that budget. Some of that may be cut back as we get final numbers and everything, and we're on a pretty tight time frame as far as having to receive those products. We don't necessarily have them installed, but we have to receive them. So we're talking about items such as touchless sinks, touchless urinals, touchless toilets, touchless paper towel disposals, and some of the doors that we enter and so forth to help not only spread the disease, but things we're going to have to buy anyway. So we are recommending approval of this bill. Ordinance, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Chief. I would encourage you to fill out more surveys. Do you have questions, comments from the audience? Come on up.
What are the requirements?
Excuse me, state your name.
Deanna Slatton. What are the requirements for the City of Branson Police Department to participate in the grant process and use that money? What kind of participation would you have in that?
We filled out a survey and then filled out a budget based on the items that we were requesting. And then that was approved, and the next step is the approval of the contract. And then it'll be working with the Department of Health and Senior Services to specify the exact items we need to purchase.
When I see the words health department and confinement, does this mean that they can confine anyone based on their health?
No, this was specifically to mitigate the risk of disease being spread, since the police department brings in people that have various things such as hepatitis and other diseases. And so all of this touchless everything is designed to mitigate the risk of that spreading through the entire police department.
Will this have any higher departments in control of this facility, like the CDC or the World Health Organization?
No.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the audience? Questions, comments from the board?
Chief, if this does pass the first reading, would it hinder us getting the grant if we didn't do a second reading tonight?
It probably wouldn't hurt us getting the grant, but what it's going to do is set us behind. We have to receive the items within a certain amount of time, which means we have to coordinate with whoever the construction is and everything. We're going to have to move real quick because we have to receive those items and be able to assure the Department of Health and Senior Services that we have received them.
Ruth? We've had your questions. So, Marshall, I think what I'm hearing the chief say is this isn't one of those urgent criticals, but if, with time being on our side, they'll be able to, I think, make better decisions. Any other comments, questions from the board on a second read? And I need somebody.
So, yeah, we need to just call for the vote on the first reading first.
Oh, you want that?
Just really quick, yeah.
Let's call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
Your Honor, I move to read Bill number 6411 for its final reading due to timing.
We have motion and a second. Anybody in the audience wishing to speak to this matter? Yep. And Deanna, what we're talking about right now is just approving a second read.
Okay.
Not the item itself.
Okay, my thing is, we need more time to look this over and everybody get a chance to look at it. I know Clay's not here either tonight, so I think we need to have him involved in this before anybody does any other readings.
Thank you for your opinion. Anybody else in the audience have any questions or comments? Questions, comments from the board? Marshall?
From the very beginning that I got involved in city government, I've always been taught to look at second reads very cautiously. I always do. With there being some public comment on this, and with it not being an absolute necessity to show that principle, I'm going to be voting no on the second read tonight.
Thank you. So let's vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Nay.
No.
The result of the vote is 3 yeses and 2 noes, the noes being Alderman Denham and Howden, and the motion carries.
Okay. So Madam Clerk, would you please read this introduction again?
Your Honor, this is the final reading of Bill Number 6411, an ordinance approving the contract with Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services for the Detection and Mitigation in Confinement Facilities COVID-19 grant for the purchase of materials for the new police facility to help limit the spread of diseases.
You've heard the final reading of Bill 6411. Do I have a motion approving this bill?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions, comments from the audience?
Your Honor, just to clarify on Alderman Howden's previous question, the status of the approval of the grant is not in question because it's already been approved. Where we get jammed up and why the reason for the second reading is because this is a restoration project technically, I have to submit special paperwork to be approved for all of the items that we're getting in. So my time crunch to submit that, I'm behind what anybody on a new build or something like that would be doing because I have to submit extra paperwork for the approval for those items.
Sure.
And the time frame, I'm worried that I won't be able to get everything in and received in time that would get me reimbursed for those items. We will be purchasing those items regardless because we need them for the new station. This is just our ability to get reimbursed from this.
Sure. I appreciate that very much, Chief. We move at the speed of business. That's a big priority of ours. So we've had a number of second reads. It's just kind of a principle matter to maybe kind of review and make sure that every single one we're doing is on point. So,
Very good. Good comments. Any board members have any other questions or comments before we vote? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, would you provide a roll call vote for the second read?
LeBlanc?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Howden?
yes.
Cooper? Denham?
Yes.
Fenton?
Yes.
The result of the vote is 5-0, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Your Honor, this is the first reading of Bill Number 6412, an ordinance amending Section 1-20 of the Branson Municipal Code pertaining to records.
You've heard the first reading of Bill 6412. Do I have a motion approving this bill?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and we're going to hear from the Honorable Hillary.
Thank you. So at the last meeting, Alderman Denham requested staff look into extending the retention period for audio and visual meeting records. This code amendment memorializes the request by putting the retention extension under the records section of our Branson Municipal Code. So this is just in response to that request, and I am happy to answer any questions.
I believe when I read the report, we're approving to make it so that we have 10 years of all recordings and all records held.
Past the retention schedule, that's correct.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So 10-year extension, yeah. Anybody in the audience have any questions or comments? Any questions, comments from the board?
I just wanted to thank you, Hillary and staff, for getting this on so quickly. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Giddy up, Hillary. Marshall?
So Hillary, we're saying that's the minimum time that we'll keep this, correct? So, because my understanding is, and YouTube is pretty old at this point, it's getting into maybe its second decade or whatever, that things kind of continue on there into perpetuity. Furthermore, I do want to comment that there was a comment made tonight about the removal of videos from the YouTube page. I think it's important that when you go onto the city's YouTube page, you then go to the live section, because since these are live streamed, that's where a lot of the meetings are archived. And to my recollection, I watch a lot of the meetings, there's been nothing removed, but I would hope that even into the future, when we hit our 10-year mark, we're not going back and immediately deleting them. We can just, our minimum is 10 years. If the servers and YouTube keeps them in perpetuity, that would be actually more my wish, so.
Good point.
Sounds good.
Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. We're at the report section of our meeting. Alderman LeBlanc, any words of wisdom?
YouTube is age appropriate to vote. It's 18 years old, so not quite in the second decade. Great job with the debacle icing yesterday on the streets. I know you guys did the best you could, and you guys got it done, and everyone was safe. And we had slide-offs, but no one, everyone got home at some point. So thank you guys for all the hard work and that you guys do. That's really all I got. Thank you.
Chuck? Marshall?
I want to say a big congrats to the Kansas City Chiefs. Like I said, 2 wins away from a Super Bowl, bringing another Super Bowl back, which would be 3 Super Bowls for Patrick Mahomes, which if it was good for the Patriots to create a dynasty, that creates a dynasty for the Kansas City Chiefs. I do want to say, Mr. Mayor, there's been some discussion about that deal that we made. I continue to be, the more that I see it unfold, happy with our decision. I think that when you talk about marketing for the city of Branson, especially as we enter into a new age where digital media is prominent, I think thinking outside the box with some of our marketing efforts is really strong. And synchronicity of brands, especially when those brands have success. It's not just the NFL that is just killing it in the ratings, which you've pointed out, but when an organization like the Kansas City Chiefs not only shows success on the field, but in their values off the field, I think it's an incredible synchronicity. And so here's to rooting on them to more victories, and thank you for the board for that decision.
You bet. Ruth?
Yes, I just wanted to remind everyone, I'm sure that a lot of social media has gone out, but the state of Missouri will not be having a presidential primary election this year, and we will be having a caucus, and the caucus is going to be held March 2nd at the Forsyth School District. There was a presentation today at the Concerned Women for America. Noah Prallo came and made a presentation and kind of went through the who, what, where, why, when. Also, how to prepare and what to expect. So if you haven't already, register at missouri.gop, and you can find your county and sign up ahead of time so that you're not standing in a long line when you go to the caucus. And I know that the newspapers will be coming out with more information. So mark your calendar for March 2nd.
Thank you very much, Ruth. Cody?
Mayor, one of the downsides to going last is everybody steals your thunder, so I feel your pain, Ralph. Ralph did it for a long time. I always got to go first. So, Mike, thank you. I said it last week, what you guys did with the snow event last week and with the ice yesterday. I really appreciate it. You guys had the roads, as safe as you could, as fast as you could. So it was not just me. I mean, I've had a lot of people comment, and I know on social media the comments have been very positive, so thank you for that. I attend, once a month, it's called the Legislative Affairs Committee meeting. It's at the Chamber. It's a really neat meeting. It's an informative meeting. You've got local representatives, you've got state, you've got even federal. So Senator Hawley's office, Congressman Burleson, they all send their representatives to this meeting, and we meet once a month over at the Chamber. It's always really neat to kind of get that connection to what's going on at the state level and federally, and then just to get to visit with people here locally as well. It was interesting. This was brought up. This whole caucus thing was brought up Friday, and that I think it's the first time in 20 years Missouri won't have a ballot presidential primary, and I had no idea. And I think the takeaway from that meeting was a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't realize they're expecting they're going to show up in August, go cast a ballot like we've done for as long as I've voted, and that's not going to be the case this year. So Ruth shared the information. You do have to register. You've got to be there by 10. They're locking the doors. And so in order to participate in that process this year, it's going to look a little different. I talked to the head of the, I'm going to butcher the name, but it was the Stone County Republican Committee, I think, the Central Committee for Stone County, and I was talking to him, and he's like, yeah, you know, we're tasked with running this, and it's not something that they've had to do in so long, and so they're running some kind of trial and error with it and figuring it out and working through some of the kinks. So it's going to be interesting. I watched the Iowa one last week, and you had, in some instances, hours-long wait just to get into the facility where it was being held. So if you want to participate, sign up. They're going to allow you to sign up that day, is my understanding, but they're telling people doors lock at 10 a.m. So if you're not pre-registered and you want to participate in that process, you should do that sooner rather than later. So anyways, something different this year.
And just to add to that, if you go to Missouri, spelled out missouri.gop, they also have videos that have the mock process. So you can go there and watch that as well if you're not able to make it to any meeting that has a mock caucus.
So that's missouri.gop, not G-O-V. G-O-P as in Paul. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, I think both parties are, it's not going to be on the same day. So the Republican, is it the same day? Jason's saying it is. I'd heard later in March. So regardless of your party, you've got to go out and look at that registration process in order to be able to participate in that process.
So when they lock the doors at 10, does that mean people can't get in or out?
That's until the process is completed. That's my understanding. So don't yell fire in there.
Okay. Well, Cody, you stole my thunder. I wanted to give rave reviews to our road crews, our police and fire during the storms that we've had. It is so comforting to me for the number of people that reached out to me thanking me for our road crews. So once again, the mayor gets the accolades. My road guys are out there busting their butt 24/7. So I want all of them to know that the community really appreciates the job that you're doing, for sure. How did I skip Kathy? Kathy, anything to share? Nothing at all? Vacation, nothing? Okay, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn this Board of Aldermen meeting. We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Thank you very much.